There's music.
Okay, there you see a little taste of the program today. The program is entitled The New York Giants Preservation Society, Keeping a Franchise's History Alive and Relevant in its original city, that being New York, when the franchise has moved. I will first begin to talk to you about myself, just to give you a little background of me. I am a 64-year-old retired New York City school teacher. I live in South Huntington, New York, which is on Long Island. Been married 37 years. I have 3 daughters and 2 grandsons. I've been a SABR member for 3.5 years. I love history. That was my major in college, and it certainly helps out here regarding sports. I am the proud president of the New York Giants Preservation Society, a lifelong San Francisco Giant fan since 1969, and a lifelong Willie Mays fan. With the formation of the New York Giants Preservation Society, there is now a home for so many fans who lost their beloved team who played in New York from 1883 to 1957. So in a couple of years, the Giants will have left New York 70 years ago. So we're going to talk about all of that as we proceed. This is my family. Those are my 3 daughters on the bottom, my 2 grandsons, and my wife. They've had to put up with my Giant fanaticism. My wife for 37 years, and my daughters, the twins are 30. My eldest is 35, and the boys are 5 and 3. So the goal of the New York Giants Preservation Society, the mission is to preserve, remember, treasure, and memorialize the baseball giants of New York. And these are some of the remaining remnants from the Polo Grounds area. The picture in the middle is the John Brush Stairway presented by the New York Giants. That was recently restored. When I say recently, within the last 10 years, it was in ill repair. And any of the tenants who played at the Polo Grounds helped chip in. It was a big dedication, which I'll talk about. The Polo Grounds home plate plaque, as you can see, it's pretty much in disarray. I don't know what they're doing there. I've sent out many letters. We'll talk about that. And the sign that's on the office building, welcome to the Polo Ground Towers. This development was built on a location that Willie Mays and the Giants made famous. Let's keep it beautiful. Boy, now that's a oxymoron. That sign's probably been up there since the mid to late 60s. It is sun bleached, and to have Willie Mays' name associated with that is a disgrace. So how did this all get started? This is my dad, Louis Mintz. Dad was my hero. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us. He instilled the love of the game to me, especially the Giants. And he loved the New York Giants. He would always talk about the PGs, the Polo Grounds, and some of the sayings and players who associated Frankie Frisch. Oh, those bases on balls, my father would say. And he would say Bobby the Flying Scott Thompson and Alvin Blackie Dark and Monty the Orange Cutie Irvin. And he would also mimic Hoyt Wilhelm. Show me how he threw the knuckleball. And Mel Ott, who you all know and love, his lifting his leg, his front leg when he'd hit the ball. Father loved Mel Ott. But there's one guy he loved more than anybody, and that was the Say Hey Kid, Willie Mays. Except for my father, never did call him Willie Mays. It was just Willie. And I knew exactly who he was speaking about. So I wanted to be like my father. He was my hero. And because of him, I became a Giant fan, and later I would run this organization in admiration of my father. My father loved everybody. Everybody loved him. Nobody ever said a bad word about him. The only thing he ever made me feel bad about was rooting for the Giants, because for 40 years, 40 plus years, 42 years, I suffered until 2010 when they finally won the World Series. Then all the pain had vanished. This is just showing you all that I've been a Giant fan for a very long time. This picture is in 1970. Why am I showing it to you? Just to prove to you that I did not jump on the bandwagon when the Giants won 3 World Series in 5 years, in 2010, 2012, and 2014. And here I am in college with the Beatles banner behind me. This is 1980 in the State University of New York at Albany. Albany is the capital of New York, and that's just me proving to you again that I love the Giants. So I followed the Giants from 1969 on. Unfortunately, I lost my hero and my dad in 2003. So he was not able to see all of the wonderful things that I've been involved with for the last 22 years. And there you see his granddaughters, the love of his lives. He would come over and see them, and he didn't care about me. He just cared about seeing them. So anyway, the story really starts when I got a phone call from the New York Baseball Giants Nostalgia Society. They were looking for my father to come to meetings in Riverdale, New York. So they called. I don't know how they got my phone number, and they spoke to me, and they said, you know, we're looking for your dad. We're starting this new group off that branched away from the New York Giants Historical Society, and we would like your father to come to the meetings. And I informed the president that that he was no longer alive. And then I got to think, you know, maybe I should go. It'd be a nice gesture. I would go in lieu of Lou Mintz, my father. So I decided to go to these meetings, and the meetings were, you know, very good, very historical. I helped procure a few of the guests for the president, and then things just went sour. I did not get along with the president, so in all reality, I was let go. I was given my walking papers, put on waivers, whatever baseball term you want. And then I was picked up by the New York Giants Historical Society. Somehow they found out that I was not with the Nostalgia Society anymore, and they called me, and I accepted their invitation. And this group was very different. They were looking for help to try to improve the organization. They discussed things with me. I gave them my ideas, and I thought all was pretty well. Somehow in 2010, the Giants won their World Series. And there you see me with the World Series trophy in New York in 2010. It was an amazing event. The president of the Historical Society had no idea they'd be doing this and was reluctant to call. So I took over, and I said, I'm going to call. And I called the Giants, and it wound up that the Nostalgia Society and the Historical Society were both invited. And you cannot wipe that smile off my face, especially when my father's guy, Willie Mays, entered the room. Willie was given an ovation. People rose to stand, men and women crying. This was their hero, their god, and he was there with them. And everybody got his autograph book, shook hands, biggest hands I've ever seen. They did not see an 80-year-old man. They saw a 25-year-old man with kid with his hat flying off, running around the bases. Soon after, I decided that this was not going to work, and I formed the New York Giants Preservation Society. I got that name from the Kinks, if any of you know music. They had a very famous album called The Kinks of the Village Green Preservation Society. The whole album was based on preserving the past. And that's what I'm trying to do. So we became the New York Giants Preservation Society. I formed a Facebook page, a website. Here's the website. The other thing was our logo. Here is the Facebook. We had a Yahoo page. And then I called the Giants up and I said, why don't we honor the last game played at the Polo Grounds, which was September 29th, 1957, 55-year anniversary. They accepted. So somehow I was out to San Francisco. And there you see, we were all invited by the Golden Gate Bridge. Welcome to New York Giants night. I'm on the field. I can't believe that I'm there. There I am at the scoreboard, on the scoreboard, I'm sorry. And then they told us to leave the field, the Giant administrators. And Peter McGowan, who was a member of our group, said, no, don't listen to him, follow me. And we followed Peter, and lo and behold, he led us to the Giant clubhouse where Willie Mays was with Mike Murphy. Now, instead of being with all these people, I was with Willie, basically with 7 other people. Shook his hand, tell him how much he meant to my father. Gave us a signed baseball. Truly an amazing thing. This picture is not from that day. Another picture I found, but it's the same general idea. Kept saying to myself, how am I so lucky to be here? My father should be here. Giants won again in 2012. Here's the trophy tour. 2014. There I am with the trophy. I'm just living this up. And there I am with Willie. We collected some money and donated it to his society. We also donated money to the Junior Giants Fund. So the New York Giants Preservation Society was off and running. We would have live meetings in downtown New York, 3 or 4 a year. The first place was the baseball clubhouse. There you see Peter McGowan. We had Josh Prager, Jamie Rupert Horace Stoneham's granddaughter. And there you see, here is Arnold Haino and John Leo Denikas and Jay Goldberg, who owned the place. We had Mo Resner, who filmed this end of an era about the last game played at the Polo Grounds. Remember, I was not around during this time. I became a fan in 1969. The Giants moved in 1958, first season in San Francisco. And I was born in 61. Anyway, there you see some of the meetings. Very well ran and very well, a lot of members would come. Jay closed the place. We then moved to Finnerty's, which wasn't far from there, also in Lower Manhattan. And again, we'd have meetings there. There was a Monty Irvin meeting. Lincoln Mitchell spoke. And there you see some of our members. And because of our association with the Giants and what I was doing, we were invited to many things. Here is the rededication of the John T. Brush Stairway. A Nike rally where they started at the bottom of the stairs and ran all around, and they invited us to be there. Here is the John T. Brush Stairway ribbon cutting ceremony that I was invited to. The whole group basically was formed, again, to remember the trips, but it was also because of Willie Mays. Everybody loved Willie Mays. They didn't, they remained Giant fans even though he moved to San Francisco. They loved him so much. So our group has a lot to do with Willie Mays. Carl Hubble Day, we were invited to in New Jersey. Monty Irvin statue dedication. I was asked to speak with Mario Aliotta. It was fabulous. And there's some other events. Renaming of streets in honor of Willie Mays. Willie Mays Drive. Willie Mays Place, murals around the Polo Ground apartment buildings. The Giants asked me to go to a game because of my association with this organization. The 2016 wild card game, the Giants against the Mets. truly the best game I ever saw. And we were photographed on television at another Met game. And there you see our banner, our 5 minutes of fame. I was asked to speak at Cooperstown regarding what you're hearing today. I rebranded the group with a new logo in 2020 when COVID came and meetings were no longer allowed to take place. So I had retired as a teacher. The next best thing to do would be to have Zoom meetings. So I learned how to do that. And our group became a virtual group. So instead of 3 or 4 meetings a year, you could ask Richard, we have 3 or 4 a month. Usually we're going anywhere from 37 to 40 meetings a year with top-notch people talking about mostly the New York Giants, but we also have many people come in and talk about the San Francisco Giants. Again, I would say 95% of our members are San Francisco Giant fans who come to these Zoom meetings. And again, it's because of Willie Mays. There you see we have a YouTube channel. Please subscribe to it. Doesn't cost anything. We have over 200 videos right now in there, close to 445 subscribers. I write a 3 times a year, the Polo Grounder. It's our magazine devoted to the New York Giants. In 2023, right before opening day, our members met at the Polo Grounds to walk around, which I call the magical history tour. Anything having to do with the Giants at the Polo Grounds, where Willie Mays' apartment was, the street signs, the home plate, the sign about keeping the place beautiful, all things associated with the New York Giants' time in New York until the end of the 57 season. And here you see Hall of Fame broadcast of the Giants, John Miller, at the Polo Ground sign on the right. Great time. The next day, the Giants actually invited me to opening day. I had just a blast. I sat in a suite and I kept pinching myself, basically saying, how the heck did I get here? These are my 2 grandsons, hopefully the double play combination of the Giants in the 2040s. Love them. So I decided to put all my information about my Giant fandom into a book. So I wrote a book and it came out in November of 2023. It's a great book for fans who do not live anywhere near their team. It's called Baseball from 3,000 Miles Away, The Trials, Tribulations, and Triumphs of an East Coast San Francisco Giants fan. And a lot has to do with the formation of the New York Giants Preservation Society here. It's a great, in my opinion, a great baseball read. I did not write it to make money. I wrote it so that when I'm no longer here, my children and my grandchildren will learn about their nutty father, or in this case, grandfather. And they see the back of the book. Again, that picture just proving to everybody that I, in fact, was a fan for since 1969, 1970. I was again asked to speak at the Hall of Fame regarding my book and the Preservation Society, and I was very grateful for that. Giants, in fact, asked me to come out to San Francisco to speak about the book and and the organization I ran, and it was just an honor. I couldn't believe it. I got to speak there and saw 3 games against the dreaded Yankees who swept them. And then a couple of weeks later, Willie Mays passed away, my father's hero. And I got this email from the Giants requesting that I come out for his celebration of life and to sit on the field. It was an exclusive event, and then there'd be a reception to follow. So everybody was invited. You could sit in the stadium, but I guess select people were on the field, and I was lucky enough to be chosen as one of them. So we entered the field, and there you see where I am in left field. And they asked you to sign something for Willie Mays, and I did. And I signed. I forgot what I wrote. Basically, thank you. and I wrote Gary and Louis Mintz because my father had her know how much he had meant to me and how Willie had meant to him and myself. And there I am in center field. This was not a wake or a shiver. This was a celebration of his life. That's why people are smiling. And I took a lot of pictures there with famous luminaries, including President Clinton. So this is where we stand today. In a little more than a decade since the organization has been founded, we have accomplished many, many things. Many of us have been asked to speak at events, radio interviews, TVs, and our group is growing despite the aging of its members. And we are always looking for new members. So if you're interested, please don't hesitate. You can contact Richard for my information or email me at giantsguru@gmail.com. We have many things that we'd like to do. We do not just sit around and talk about the old times. We are hopefully going to see at some point by the stadium a museum dedicated to the franchise. I have often asked them to include all the New York Giants on their Hall of Fame wall. It's only reserved for San Francisco, and they should really make it a franchise wall. Again, I've written letters and spoken to councilmen regarding the signage at the Polo Grounds, and we hope that one day, with the help of some people, including Willie Mays' son, we will see that come to fruition. I want to thank everybody for showing up. I'm sorry I can't ask questions, but if you have any, feel free to jot them down. I hope the rest of your SABR Day goes well. And again, I wanted to thank Richard Quickie for inviting me. I hope you all found this to be rewarding. And I hopefully will look forward to hearing from some of you. But until then, have a great day and be well. Bye-bye now.
So I've attended a few of their meetings. It's usually on Thursday nights around 6 o'clock Central Time, and they've had some pretty impressive speakers. John Miller, the voice of the Giants, was on. They had Bob Lurie, who used to be the owner of the Giants, attends their meetings. They had Chris Spire, who was a shortstop for the Giants back, I think, in the late 70s, 60s. And it's an opportunity to interact with those people as well, again through Zoom, and I find them fairly informative. So I thought I'd share that with you, and hope you got something out of it. Again, their YouTube has all of their videos posted out there that are of meetings, and you can go out and browse those if you're interested. So that was it for that topic.
Well done.
Any questions for me? And maybe that I can help with? I'm not sure I can answer, but
Thought that little baseball club in Manhattan looked pretty cool.
Yeah.
On the slides.
What I didn't ask him was what happened to those other two organizations that he defected from? Are they still around? Or
Nostalgia Society.
Yeah. So anyway, all right. I want to switch topics. One thing I wanted to mention before we got too much further, our chapter was awarded a $500 check to go into our new chapter bank account for attaining the MVP status of the chapter guidelines and standards. That it's been underway for about I think this is the third year, and this is the second year that we achieved that. So we have some money to, yeah, thanks, Gene. So we have some money to look at planning to try to allocate for some worthy baseball type events. I know we kicked around a few things a couple of meetings ago. Never really got any traction on any of the ideas that we had. So we want to try again, it just takes somebody that's got to spearhead it and got to run down the contacts or run down what we're going to do. So again, I think we're open for really any kind of suggestions right at this point for how to utilize those funds. So I think we have what, $950, I think now, Justin. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, $1,000. The only thing we spent it on was one student membership
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
Tulane
Yep.
kid who spoke at the last meeting.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty
So
much
that's all we've done so far. Yeah. So
have to put some in the stock market, you know.
there you go. Bitcoin.
Derby disagrees.
I want to report / pitch that the John B. Sant green marker, it is happening. I'm in touch with very much Jeremy Kroc, the head of the League Baseball green marker project. They've done dozens of grades so far, and I'm in the process of writing text. I've been in touch with Councilman G. Russo, whose district is in includes Carrollton Cemetery. We're hoping to have a dedication thing within a year, but it is happening. So if there's any willingness to even kick in a bit of money for anything on that,
you catching this, Richard? You able to hear that?
Yeah. Yeah.
so yeah, and it's we're excited about it. So
Much is the like the total cost?
well, we're still that's up to Jeremy largely. He tells me they can totally fund it, but they can't do it until next year. So I'd have to ask him and the family if there's anything we could do financially.
Funding question, or is it a problem of people in the pipeline ahead of them?
Kind of both. I have an idea for another one. Lloyd Davenport, Ducky Davenport, is in Holt. He was with the American Giants, Cincinnati Tigers. But we're trying to get the BSANT thing done. So even if financially, how do I say, even if we don't need you that way, any support, any whatever, we appreciate it greatly. So
Like a worthy cause. Bring it up. Maybe you want to put an email together?
yeah.
Yeah. That would be a good next step to.
Okay.
So we could do that.
I'm also gonna write a blog post about it. So
Send it direct over to me.
okay.
Okay.
Yep. Sounds good. Just lost Richard.
Oh, I'm still here.
All right. How's the beach?
It's nice. Weather's been good. We only had one half day. It was bad. So I had a topic if you're interested. I had written a story for Crescent City Sports about 2 weeks ago. With the draft, MLB draft, and the players who are at the higher end of the scale get some pretty hefty sums of money for a signing bonus. And so I had gone back and looked at. Let me see if I can maybe share my screen again. Well, let me just talk to it. I think the top high school player this week got $9 million. So I went back and looked at some of the players from the past in New Orleans history, and I found several. Putzi Caballero was I don't know if you know his story. He was signed by the Phillies out of high school at Jesuit High School, and they wound up sending him directly to the majors. So he was like at the time, I think the youngest position player to play, but he got an $8,000 signing bonus, which at the time the normal bonus around the city was around 2,500. So he thought he was rich when that happened. Another one was Tookie Gilbert. He was again kind of a high school phenom player on all state teams, all American Legion teams. His father was Larry Gilbert, who was the manager of the New Orleans Pelicans and later the Nashville Volunteers. And so he was well connected in the baseball community. So a lot of teams were contacting him directly, trying to convince him to have his son sign with them. So he wound up having a lottery. He told I think it was 5 teams that showed up with a precondition of a $50,000 signing bonus, which at that time was kind of unheard of. So they had this lottery at the Monteleone Hotel. His mother's drew the name out of the hat, and it was the New York Giants. And of course, Mel Ott was associated with them at the time, and he was on hand and actually signed him to a contract right there. There was another guy that was Jimmy Harwell. He was, I think it was 1950, I think 1956 or 57. He won 19 games as an American Legion player in one season, in one summer. And so he was like an all most valuable player of the American Legion nationally, had all kind of awards. But he basically, I think he got a sore arm his next year as a high school player. He only won a couple of games. But anyway, the Dodgers wound up giving him a $50,000 signing bonus. And this is, again, I think in 1966. He got to the Dodgers AAA level, and basically his arm gave out on him, and he never made it to the majors. Rusty Staub, many of you might know this story, was when he was coming out of high school, the Boston Red Sox were interested in him. Ted Williams actually made a visit to come watch him play. He had a grand slam home run at one of the American Legion games, and supposedly Williams was highly impressed. But they wound up giving their money, which I think was about $100,000, to a player from Baton Rouge, Dalton. I forget it was Dalton. Can't remember his name. Dalton something. But anyway, so the Houston Astros, or back then with the 45s, were interested, and they signed him again to a $100,000 signing bonus again, which was pretty lucrative at the time. And let's see, I think Will Clark's signing bonus with the Giants was like $165,000. So if you compare that, he was like 1985. So if you go back 40 years, and these guys were getting $50,000 to $100,000, it's fairly lucrative at the time. So again, that's just some background on a few of the players in their professional careers here. Any questions about that, or if I can help?
They were born too soon.
That's right, exactly. Yeah. I think the pitcher from LSU, Cade Anderson I think was the third overall pick. I think he was slotted to get like 8.4 million, something like that. So
Yeah.
I don't,
He was
I don't know if he
supposed to
actually
go
signed yet.
first, but like the Nationals didn't want to pay him or something, or it's the way the MLB draft is a little bit different from other sports.
Yeah.
In terms of those signing bonuses, I think. But yeah, that was quite an impressive run for LSU.
Yeah.
It's from the North Shore, right?
Yes.
This year,
Gene, you had a question?
Yeah, just a little bit of a comment. At one of our Zoom meetings recently, we were talking about drafting of players, and if they achieve certain awards, they can accumulate, or what's the word, like get a credit for major league time on the roster. And anyway, it's a little bit convoluted and complicated, but the club can also get extra draft picks if players are put on the roster opening day and achieve like top three in awards like MVP, Rookie of the Year, Cy Young, things like that. So it's kind of an interesting topic to see how players, in addition to their bonuses, can get the club benefits and get themselves uh, credit playing time, major league playing time is what I'm trying to explain. Anyway, it's a pretty cool topic, and I think we might have a talk on it one day or something. But one of the our chapter members is a real attorney, and he knows all about arbitration and all the rules. And so I don't know whether your chapter would be interested one day, but in that topic. But you were asking for ideas a little while ago,
Yeah.
for topics. So it's kind of pertains to what's going on nowadays.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Good.
I like the newsletters Richard sent, after every meeting, kind of filing in the documents also. But do we store it? Do we have a place where we can go?
I don't know, you-
Okay, but it's not, but
Question.
we have like a website or I don't know, or something like that, or we may.
Talked about it.
yeah, we've got a Facebook site, but
Oh, really?
yeah. Um. We could post it all there, I guess.
Yeah.
Did you want a baseball history one or different?
No, we could do it's a regular Saber
Right.
group page.
Right.
But I don't know if the newsletter with the attachments might be too big to post.
Oh, also there is from the Saber, there is like a link, like a page for our chapter or not?
Yeah, and they get a copy of all our stuff anyway.
Okay, but they're.
I don't know if they post it in
They're
the
the ones that administrate that page.
Yeah.
Oh, that's.
They have some stuff
the
on
St. Louis-
LinkedIn,
St. Louis
but I haven't
one's
seen
about
Facebook.
Chapter,
Uh-huh.
they post their meetings on their website that connects from Saber. So it can be done on.
I just don't know about the size of it, because we put the newsletter with the presentations, I don't know.
Yeah,
about
you'd
the
have to
size of
break
the
it up.
file. Right, break
Smaller,
it up.
like smaller summaries.
I want to talk to them about Zoom anyway, so.
Yeah,
I'll talk to them
yeah.
about that. Then if we can put it all on the Saber site, let everybody know.
Yeah,
They own about 10
but you said-
meetings, and they have videos and everything, so it must be pretty expansive.
But so they have a separate website that to the Saber one?
No, it's a page, Saber gives, each chapter has their own page.
Oh,
It's where I get, they have a member directory and everything else, that's how I figure out who's joined and.
okay, but they give us access to that stuff there?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Or you can go through the whole series, you can go to everybody else's chapter.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a member of
Yeah, that's.
our chapter to see our chapter.
Yeah, I might have to head out a little early, but yeah, couldn't hear. The question was about
Sorry.
Facebook, social networking. But Saber has Facebook groups on that we can join, public Facebook groups, it sounds like. for the national and local chapters. So, wasn't sure if y'all could hear.
I'll see about putting all those.
Any other questions or? An announcement or you want to go, Carlos?
For the Facebook groups that you're mentioning through SABR, do you have to log into SABR to then get into that group?
You'd have to get
Facebook,
Facebook.
right?
It's Facebook. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
I'll send out,
Yeah.
I'll send out an email to everybody with the link to the Facebook group page.
Okay. And I wanted to ask also, does the New Orleans, does this group ever do field trips of any kind?
Have we?
We haven't.
We have
We
not.
can barely have meetings.
We're at the Holiday
Well,
Inn right now.
I asked because I had also joined, you know, I'm in Texas. I had also joined the Houston group and the Florida Daytona group, Southern Florida group. And I noticed that they go to games, and I know that New Orleans does not have a team, but I noticed that they travel to other cities
Right.
and have different type of excursions. So I was just
One
curious.
member,
Yeah.
one member is on his way from Baton Rouge to Biloxi today to watch the Shuckers. So,
Mhm, mhm.
yep.
Well, I had an opportunity to go to Vero Beach for the Andre Dawson Classic back in February, and that was my first time going. But because I was one of the featured speakers there, we also got a tour of the facility. And I
Right.
personally didn't know anything about the Jackie Robinson training facility. Um, I know it was the Dodgers training facility, and they changed the name or something. It's a beautiful facility.
Where-
We
Where
didn't
is
get
that?
Vero Beach, Florida. Absolutely beautiful. And you know, that I will treasure that experience. It was really a nice experience. And that was, like I said, through my connections in Florida, um, you know, back then. And I do want to share that I also had an opportunity a couple of weeks ago to do an interview that was with Elena Schreiber. And I believe her stations it was a radio interview, are in Baton Rouge and New Orleans. And she discovered my dad's story when she was in Kansas City visiting the museum. So that was a rare opportunity as well. But I was just curious about that.
Yep. Yep. I'd say closest game would be College, Tulane, uptown, and then we got some LSU fans here. But the lack of a professional team, we do have some really good college programs.
Yeah.
We used to have a suite at Zephyr Field.
Oh, really?
for games.
Oh, wow.
Would anyone be possibly, hi, Carlos, by the way, I'm Ryan Wordy. We've
Mhm.
talked.
Yeah.
Touring Barrow Stadium. Would there be interest there at all?
Tour the stadium, maybe a big go to a game tour.
Worsley Barrow Stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easy game.
What Dillard plays there.
Yeah.
But
Didn't have such a bad season.
last year, wait, was it 2 seasons ago? Their first season back, they won the conference. They got hot in the tournament, right? But anyway, I'll volunteer that as an idea.
Yeah. Well, most of my family and friends are either LSU fans or Astro fans. So That's who they support.
We used to go around Arthur Schott's birthday in July, maybe. We used to have a game at Zephyr Field.
Those were the days.
Remember the All-Star game? Something like the Cracker Jack. It wasn't Cracker Jack. He's over here, Jansen Peters here, fellas here, the manager's here. I had a press pass, but took my son along with me, thought I was crazy.
Just going to Zephyr's game and watching batting practice.
This is at the dome.
Dennis Berkeley came out in an inflatable sumo wrestler's suit, took batting practice.
Savannah
Savannah Bananas?
Been coming on TV now lately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He landed on his face, it's on.
Oh, really?
He did trying to do a backflip, he landed.
Sounds like some of my friends.
I was in the lottery, but I didn't use it. It's like they do real well.
Yeah, they've generated
Well,
quite a fan base, but yeah, circus goes to town.
They were in the stadium and worked there. 2 weeks after I left Milwaukee, we come here. Missed like 2 last weeks.
well, the clowns though, I mean, that was their thing, so.
I've always had you had House of David, touring clubs.
Oh, yeah.
Novelties and things to put butts in the seats.
Yeah.
Jackie Price used to come to Pelican Stadium pretty often. And who was the guy who used to sing?
Just
and
like to
dance?
watch this.
Very interested,
Yeah, thought him-
just a social thing, just like getting the suite at one of the Shuckers games.
Well, we've
Yeah.
had the
I
folks
would-
from
yeah.
the Shuckers here. a couple
Right.
times to talk to
Yeah,
them.
yeah, you can talk to him, right?
Love to pay for it, everybody put up money.
Yeah, I think it was about like 10 or 12 people.
Yeah.
8 to 12 or something.
I think to go over there.
Oh, yeah.
Get information. Even if you open it up to other.
Yeah.
Maybe a SABR group
Friends and
like that
family.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Or,
The one in
Mobile
Jackson.
lost their team. Jackson's lost their team. Jackson.
Oh, really?
We've lost our team.
Right.
So, I would imagine all those groups are looking for some baseball and good luck.
Yeah, I like where the stadium is, or with the casinos and the Margaritaville.
That's the only reason why they're making any money. Back.
Yeah.
It was all, it's good, I don't know who the guy was that came here.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen them. They post a lot on Facebook too.
Yeah, I've got all the contact
Find
information.
it, a weekend and get a suite, everybody put a ticket, eat over there, just a little social.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, why don't we go for that? The Gold Rush. Remember the owner, one of the owners, one of the early owners, the catcher for the Mets at the time, was one of the original owners of the Shuckers. Remember the guy who played with the Mets, I can't think of his name. He was but basically a backup catcher.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about?
Billy Baldwin,
He's still around.
I think he's called their ambassador or something.
We went to a show there and he got him and talked about the team.
Yeah.
This was the early years. It's a good one.
Where are you at? Are you in Houston?
Carlis?
Yes, I'm right outside of Houston.
Okay, thought maybe you were in outer space or something.
She's a star.
Yes, indeed. I'm still interested though in a historical marker in New Orleans somewhere. It's work. There's work involved from what I'm told, but
The biggest part of it is finding a spot where the state will allow you to put it up. That's the hardest part of the whole thing, believe it or not.
Well, Carlos, is there like a building or location that the marker honoring Johnny Wright could go?
honestly, there are a lot of places that come to mind where he practiced at Xavier University, being one. But if none of the old stadiums are still around or active, you can't really place anything there. I checked just the other day to see if I could go and visit where he was inducted into the All-State Hall of Fame and see the plaque. I mean, they gave me a plaque. I have my own plaque, but I just wanted to see where it would be hung. And they still have not finished construction on that. They said, give us a few more months, and check back. So I'm just like, okay, the plaque, he's received the honor. The plaque is not hung yet, but it's not just him. I'm thinking in terms of we had several Negro League players that came out of, and I know Ryan Worthy, you could probably speak on that better than me, that came out of New Orleans.
What location were they considering putting it up, Carlis? Do you know?
It's held in the Dome.
Oh, in the Dome itself. Okay.
And even in 2022, when we had the ceremony for the, I think it was 5 inductees at that time, construction was taking place. It took them several months to decide whether or not they were going to still have it there. They were looking for another location. They decided to go on and have it there with one little area, kind of rained off for the ceremony itself. But I can't believe that it's still under construction.
The last I heard, which was a few years ago, the plaques were in the media room in the Superdome. There's a huge room there in the Dome where the media aid met and everything. And all the plaques of all the...
It's not open to the public.
I mean, it was, right, it was.
There is a memorabilia room
or something, right?
Store, big.
And when they did the renovation, cut that room in half, it's my understanding that they took the plaques and put them within the stadium itself at different locations around the stadium.
Mm-hmm.
And that was 3 or 4 years ago, the last I know. So
We just did more renovations.
Yeah, and I emailed directly to the person who's over it, and he responded, very quickly to let me know that there was still construction going on. So
yeah, they got to work during the off season, obviously, and it's taken a few years.
Not the least resistance would be for a state historical marker, because those are easily funded and easily produced. The key to it, though, is that the state wants to install it on state-owned property, state highway, right of way, whatever it is. Now you can get an agreement with the city of New Orleans, which is what we did for Pelican Stadium, because the neutral ground at Tulane and Carrollton was too narrow to put a marker, and they didn't want people trying to cross the street, look at it. So to put it on the city property on the sidewalk, we had the city council involved, and that was actually pretty easy to do. We got a city council person to sponsor. So if there is a site that is of more significance than others in his career, Xavier would certainly not be a problem. I'm sure they would certainly be very willing. But if there is a site that is more appropriate for his career or in his life that we would want to look at, let's look at those, because again, getting the state to agree with the city to put something up.
Xavier is actually, it's right by the marker on the other side of the interstate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if it's Xavier, it's on private property, and so
it's private.
Okay with that. And so it's just, you're dealing with the government. Crime wouldn't pay if the government ran it.
there's
the I's and cross the T's, you can get it done.
Yeah.
But the more important thing, in my mind, would be where is it that would be most meaningful to honor him, because that's where you want people to see it. Something at that. So that I'm going to have to throw back to you all to come up with the spot, and then I can run with it after that.
Where does Xavier play their baseball games now?
Last I knew, last season, it was Slidell somewhere,
Yeah.
for some reason. It used to be Barrow, and they
Right,
changed,
right.
and
So it's like
I'm
out by
not sure.
Pontchartrain Park, right?
Yeah.
I know it would
They're all
make
getting ready
sense.
to go to fall ball, so we'll see what the stuff is like.
Yeah,
And would they consider the family home?
That may be a neighborhood problem,
Hmm.
because I'm not sure neighbors would want a historical marker in their residential neighborhood.
Yeah, there's a field.
I mean, the jazz greats have always had that same problem.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
around city.
Fact, Domino House or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
There's a couple of fields, as I recall. Of course, I've been gone many years. I've actually been here since the 70s in Texas, but I do remember some affiliation with the Nord field over in Carrollton. But there was another field that was near, it's near Paul Lawrence Dunbar Elementary, where Dad practiced as well. I don't remember the name of the field right now. I know I have a picture of it somewhere. But the historical marker, and I think I may have mentioned this in a previous meeting, just to reiterate, that was done in Daytona, Florida, to honor him and Jackie. It was placed there because that's where the training camp was, though it's no longer a ball field. And it's placed towards the curb of where now sits the recreational center and aquatic center. And then inside that facility, there's a plaque that was sent from the Jackie Robinson Foundation in honor of that historical marker being placed there as well. But it did take an involvement, and it was my SABR Florida group who kind of initiated this. But it did take city council, it took the mayor, it took the NAACP. I mean, there were a number of entities, but I cannot forget SABR because it was granted and paid for through SABR.
Ms.
So
Robinson, are the stadiums where he played in New Orleans mentioned in your book?
I don't think we talked much about the stadiums in the book. No.
I don't recall seeing it in the book, but I was going
Yeah, we didn't talk much about the stadiums. We had so much trouble documenting the New Orleans aspect. We could document almost everything else, but trying to get a hold of information in New Orleans was the hardest thing in the world for me. And that's where he played right outside of high school.
well,
But
didn't he coach for Nord?
I remember Nord offering him an opportunity to work through Nord, which he did not take advantage of. And it was right there in our neighborhood.
Okay.
But
I'll look for those.
yeah, so I know it does take a lot of work. But in light of all of what has happened, you know, Negro League now being considered Major League and the history behind it, and because he was the second after Jackie Robinson to the minor league to integrate, I think it warrants it, you know.
Well, like I said, the biggest thing is going to be finding a spot. I don't think anything else will be a problem.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
All right. Well, I'll look for those. What else?
Announcement or one of the guys from one of our analytics projects, Sachin, Richard and I were helping him job search, and he finally found something, consulting job in DC. So yeah, I messaged him last night, but probably gave him the invite too late. But yeah, we're going to work on it. Yeah, we don't quite have it yet, but SABR does a Diamond Dollars competition, so it's a similar style. analytics style. So
Because their stuff is, I mean, for all the guys who hate statistics,
yeah.
Swoboda never comes to these meetings because he says, I hate statistics. It's getting metric. But, and I would agree with him in most cases, but I find a lot of the stuff that they put out really, really interesting.
Yeah.
Really, really interesting. So, and it doesn't strike you as statistics.
Right. Yeah, we have to. Well, yeah, that's what Richard and I do. It's like, all right, reel it in here. But yeah, nice to give them some practical knowledge, and that you can use it on their interviews, even if it's not about baseball.
I was going to ask about if y'all had seen the website that Mark Armour put together as a research project. He's tracked down, or he's still in the process, but he's identified over 1,800 games that Satchel Paige has played in his career, and he's identified the locations and the scores and his records. I think he was like 640 something and wins and 300 something losses. It's pretty impressive if you haven't looked at
a list that has something to do with that I get something from every now and then. He pitched here in Rollins, 1939, for the second one.
But it's pretty impressive. He uses a map of the United States and the Caribbean countries to show where he's pitched and where he's played. I think this has been I think he found 17 games in New Orleans that Satchel Paige played in, either barnstorming or a exhibition game or a all-star game or whatever. So
I have a fun fact about Satchel Paige. One of my Facebook groups that I'm in, pulled up some statistics, and I found out that my dad beat Satch 3 times. I was so tickled about that. 3 different games.
Nice.
Because everybody knows Satch. They don't know a lot about my dad, but they know Satch. And I thought that was pretty cool when he sent me those records.
So, I mean, those games are documented. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Could be.
There's documentation of those games, man?
Yeah, they sent it to me.
Good. George Strickland told a funny story about the first time he faced Satchel Paige. George just come over from the Pirates, and he was leading up to the battle. And he had heard of Satchel Paige, old he was, 50, 60, 40, no matter, how to tell at the time. The judge said he didn't think much of it, and he was leading on. He comes up, he grabs the bat, right, what's up? Right. He put the bat there, hold on a second here, so I can still throw on. Funny stuff.
Well, Herb told a story about facing Satch. Forgetting that Herb Simpson, he always told us a story about betting against him and getting the hit. Satch told him, I think enjoy that one. It ain't going to happen again. Something like that. So hated to lose. So
he used to have Dizzy Dean used to ask people, he says, what kind of pitch would you like to miss? But Paige had some saying like that he would trash talk him. I can't remember. I gotta read that.
Sit down, little boy.
Anytime his field was there, he'd go sit down.
Yeah.
Justin, you had another commitment you needed to make.
Yeah, probably about 11:30 or so.
Okay, yeah, we can.
Anything else?
We're close to it now. We are.
Yeah, but yeah, we'll try to get some of the best practices for Zoom. But
Well, I'm gonna call Jacob.
We got the sound working here well. So when you share your screen, you have to share sound at the same time.
Well, and we also talked
We
about,
need to
we
start
got the sound
Zoom
problem
a little
solved
earlier.
here in the room, Rich, because we can hear it
Yeah,
very well. We can
right,
hear
right.
both sides. So now it would be a case of saying if we could get a second camera hooked up so that you could see both the screen and.
Oh, the actual room?
Yeah,
That'd be
sort of
cool.
a thing. So I'll talk to Jacob about that.
Yeah.
Getting something figured out, because if it's just like a second laptop or something like that, we could do that.
Yeah, a little web stand, webcam.
Yeah. We'll figure
Yeah. 21st century, you know.
Look, I'm still waiting for the Jetsons flying cars. We were supposed to have that by now. So. All right. Well, if nobody's got anything else, do it.
All right. Well. Yeah.
All right. Thanks everybody for attending. Appreciate it. Sorry for the late problems. Getting started.
Once we got that, good meeting. So. All righty.
All right, folks.
Okay.
We'll see y'all next time.
Have a great weekend.
Next meeting's October, right? October.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, sir.
October. All righty.
Thanks, everybody.